Good evening, Ram fans, and welcome to the Monday Night Sports Show. I'm Brian Buck.
And I'm Jessica Mendoza. We have an action-packed show for you tonight, so without further ado, let's get started. And Ram fans, the football team has recorded their 5th loss of the season, bringing their small win streak to an end. The Rams traveled to Boise State to battle the Broncos on the blue turf last Friday, where quarterback Brett Rippon got to flex on a CSU defense that had shown a lot of improvement in the weeks before. The Broncos scored on their first drive within 6 plays when Rippon fires the ball into the end zone and finds A.J. Richardson. And again, the two connect to get an early lead on the Rams. A 74-yard punt return, rushing touchdown, and another bullet to the end zone would give Boise a 35-0 lead. That is until a few seconds before the half. KJ Carter-Samuels finally gets some time to look downfield and found Preston Williams for a 47-yard touchdown pass. The not-so-pleasant halftime meeting jolted the Rams to be the next to score. Despite the tight coverage, Warren Jackson secures the ball in the right side of the end zone. But Boise's momentum couldn't be tamed, and they followed up with 14 more points on nothing spectacular, but good enough to start signing away their victory. Colin Hill would make another appearance Friday night, where he helped put 7 more on the board for CSU, passing to Jackson. Rams special teams were embarrassed and obliterated once again when CSU attempts an onside kick, a tricky strategy that was very poorly executed overall. Avery Williams easily picks up the ball, and he was gone to the end zone. Izzy Matthews would score the final points in that night, bringing the final score to 56-28. Now, interesting enough, CSU tallied more passing and total yards than Boise did. But they could only convert 4 out of 11 on first down, and Boise only had to punt twice. CSU defense also could not force a turnover on Boise, and the Broncos scored 14 points off of CSU's 2 of 3 turnovers. The Broncos remain undefeated to the Rams. As Colorado State had disappointing travels home, they will have to pick themselves back up before they partake in the first Border War matchup in Canvas Stadium this Friday night.
Coach Mike Bobo had a big announcement to make in his weekly press conference earlier today. Quarterback Colin Hill would take over for KJ Carter-Samuels and start his first game of the season this Friday against Wyoming.
I thought Colin did well in the game, and it was good for him to go out and play well and get more than a series at a time. And we made the decision Saturday as a staff and told our guys yesterday Colin Hill will start this game. Well, I mean, we're 3-5. I believe we think we need a spark as a football team. I've been saying all along he's been practicing well. And I felt like I would do something if I felt it would, if we need a better chance to win. And it's like I told KJ yesterday, I said, not a lot of people have been through your shoes, but I'm one that have, and not a lot of people don't understand that hadn't played the position. And it's no matter if you like, you don't like it, it's hard when you come out here, but you got to prepare and get ready. I said when I got benched, I think we were 3-5, and had the best week of practice of my life. Then I ended up going in that game when we were down 28-7. That's why I told him, I said, you never know. I said, you're coming out here and practicing well today. I know it's hurting today. You got to regroup and get ready to go tomorrow. But he's a tough kid. He's all in how he approaches and how he prepares to try to help this team play football games. And it's not all him, but. When you make a change like that, it's putting everybody on notice really that hey, we changed the quarterback. But both are good. Both are playing really well. And Colin played well there at the end of the game, but that wasn't that's not the sole reason. KJ, you go back and watch the film, didn't play awful against Boise State. None of us played really good there early on.
You say it's a spark, but did you need Colin to have some success in a game before that spark becomes
well, I mean, there's
I
don't want to hand anybody a job. They've got to prove it on the practice field and the game field. Well, ultimately, as the head coach, I'm going to do what I believe gives us the best chance to win this week, and that's what I did.
Hill has played in 6 of 8 games this season, not participating against Hawaii or New Mexico. In his appearances this year, Hill is a combined 25 of 48 for 288 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns to 1 interception. Hill was 12 of 14 for 135 yards and a passing score against Boise State last week. In 2016, as a freshman, Hill replaced Nick Stevens at quarterback and threw for 1,096 yards and 8 touchdowns in just 4 games before tearing his ACL. Jessica, this is huge news for the CSU football team, and you look at that change that they've been making. It's one that seems like it might have happened as the season's gone on, but it's now at the doorstep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was really surprised to hear the news, and I can't imagine how surprised both players were at the quarterback position. I'm kind of wondering how KJ's feeling right now, hearing that even Bobo thinks it's not all his fault. But, I mean, we are making that change. And I can't help but think that Bobo's kind of running through his head that, okay, KJ's going to be gone after this year. We're coming towards the end of the season. We're going to want to see Colin Hill go in there and get some reps, get some touches, and they're going to want to see him improve for next year. And I think that's part of the reason for sure.
I definitely agree with you there. You got to know what's ahead for this football team, and the quarterback position after these two guys is definitely a big question mark. And Colin Hill, as a freshman, was really good. Those 1,096 passing yards in just 4 games is super impressive, and it's really not on KJ Carter-Samuels. It's more of a Colin Hill thing and what he provides for this team, the capability that he has. We've seen that this offense has been kind of limited under KJ, and you can look at a lot of things, the offensive line, the running back, but under Colin Hill, it's hard to argue that he has a higher ceiling than both of these two guys.
Absolutely. Well, the most successful CSU team this weekend was the volleyball team. The team spent another long weekend on the road as they first took on the New Mexico Lobos. The Rams came out looking extremely dominant in Lobo territory, starting off each set with a wide point difference, giving them a lot of wiggle room to be aggressive on the serve and at the net. Brianna Runnels made New Mexico scramble when she got a swing on the ball, and she finished with 18 kills. Kirsty Hillier looked consistent and smart in the middle with 9 kills and 7 blocks. And while Olivia Nicholson has kept the libero role, last season's libero Amanda Young made an appearance on the court Thursday night for the first time since CSU has began conference play, and she contributed 9 digs for the Rams. An overall controlled and spread out Rams team swept the Lobos, winning each of the 3 sets by 9 and 10 points. Tom Hilbert was very pleased with his girls' blocking, serving pressure on the road, and especially Runnels' performance. Hilbert commented on it after saying, "Her performance was unbelievable, and if she continues to play like that, they'll beat everyone that they play."
The sweep streak ended for the Rams on Saturday. A streak of 12 consecutive set victories for the volleyball team was surrendered in Las Vegas against the UNLV Rebels on Saturday. The Rams had won 4 consecutive matchups in sweep format before traveling to Las Vegas, where they dropped the first set to the Rebels 25-15. The Rams would quickly start a new streak, however, finishing the 4-set match with 3 consecutive set wins, marking their 5th consecutive match victory. The first set saw the Rams commit 8 attacking errors. Sets 2 through 4 saw only 10 errors and a combined .349 hitting rate. The Rams were big at the net, tallying 12 team blocks, with Polina Hoger-Jensen and Kirsty Hillier piling on 6 blocks each. Brianna Runnels led the Rams on offense, stacking up 19 kills, and the Rams are now 16-6 overall and 8-2 in Mountain West play. Their current 5-match winning streak has put the Rams just a half game back of Fresno State for the top spot in the conference standings. And to add to the volleyball news, earlier today, middle blocker and redshirt junior Kirsty Hillier was named Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week. The junior from Bayfield, Colorado, had 7 and 6 blocks in her 2 matches this week, totaling 13 total blocks this past week, helping the Rams to their victories over New Mexico and UNLV, which were both road matches. Hillier was also dynamic offensively, putting up 20 kills in the same time span. It's the 2nd week in a row that a Ram volleyball player has received a Player of the Week award, with Polina Hoger-Jensen getting the Offensive Award last week.
The women's soccer team committed their 8th loss on a windy Friday afternoon to the UNLV Rebels after not being able to score any goals once again. Head coach Bill Hempen says the team isn't lacking effort, but they lack quality and execution, and that's what has kept them from being a scoring team. The first half was completely scoreless despite UNLV goalkeeper Emberly Sevilla having to make a diving save to keep Kaylee Lordeman from sinking a shot. But in the second half, the Rebels made major moves in Ram territory. The Rebels thrived when they dribbled down the left side of the field, and a quick left-to-right assist allowed Georgia Kingman to score the first goal of the game. UNLV's Caitlin Kreutz scored less than 14 minutes later, beating Hunter Pfeiffer in the high left corner. And finally, McKenna Sullivan seals the game with a penalty kick goal in the 76th minute. The Rams fell to the Rebels 3-0 in their second-to-last home game of the season.
On Sunday, Colorado State had another chance to come back. The Rams soccer team has powered through an up-and-down season highlighted by great defense and marred by inconsistent scoring. The team, who is now 6-8-4 on the season, earned their first victory in over 2 weeks against the Nevada Wolfpack. The Rams defense, the strength of their team, put on a show in front of the home crowd from the CSU soccer field on Sunday, only allowing 6 total shots from the Wolfpack. The Rams were in control of the ball for a majority of the match, especially in the first half, and they took 15 shots on the day, but waited until late to make one count. It was Kaylee Lordman who finally found the back of the net in the 88th minute with a bending shot from the top of the penalty box that hooked under the bar in the left corner. The Rams would hold on after the only score of the game and take the home victory over Nevada 1-0. After the senior day game, CTV soccer reporter Jared Stratton was able to catch up with senior forward Kaya Orns.
Hi there, Ram fans. I am Jared Stratton here at CTV, and I am joined by Kaya Ornis, senior for the women's soccer team. Now, this was the last home game for you, Kaya Ornis. How meaningful was this game for you?
It was very meaningful thinking about how far this program's come in the past 4 years, for sure.
Yeah, and we have 7 graduating seniors as of today. How do you think that's going to change the culture moving forward for this team?
I'm hoping that, they're going to keep the culture that we've kind of created a little bit and stick with it. I think that this year we really created a really good culture, and I think most people have bought into it.
Yeah, and you had a lot of ups and downs throughout your career. One of the downs being today getting kneed in the face, but you're still able to get up right after that and play throughout the game. Was there really a deciding factor, not a deciding factor, it was a meaningful moment that you had as a CSU Ram? Was there anything that really stood out?
Today it was just a lot of fight, and it was great seeing everyone fight and seeing everyone go for it as hard as they could.
All right, and I guess a lot of fans right now are wondering what's next for you in your career.
I'm probably going to be done for a little bit, but I definitely plan on coaching. I've got a little team at home back in Minnesota that I'm excited to start, so stick with soccer that way.
Great. Thank you, Kyle Ornis, and I'm Jared Stratton signing off for CTV.
All right, Ram fans, that is all we have for you right now, but don't go anywhere because coming up next, we've got Castro's Cut.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
How's it going, Rams? Welcome to Castro's Cut, and I am Litos Castro, here to give you the rundown of what's to come up in CSU Sports this week. So, without further ado, let's get rolling right into it. First, we're starting off with your swim and dive team. They're going to be hosting Wyoming, a huge contender for the Rams this week, starting off on Wednesday. That meet's going to be at 4 in the afternoon. We're going to look to see who comes out on top to start off this rivalry of the week. And then next we move on to the tennis team. Tennis team heading out to Albuquerque for the New Mexico invite. It's going to be a multiple day event starting on Friday, finishing up on Sunday. It's going to be a lot happening, so we'll keep you posted and make sure you don't miss out on a single thing. We got you covered like that. Then next, we're moving on to your cross-country team. They got a huge day coming up this week. On Friday, they're heading out to California for the Mountain West Cross-Country Championship. That squad has a bunch of stars on it. We're going to keep an eye on every single one of them to make sure that you don't miss out and that we keep you posted. And then finally, rolling on to the volleyball court. CSU back at home, Moby Arena, to take on San Diego State on Thursday. Going to be at 7 in the evening. Then they're staying at Moby on Saturday for Fresno State. That game is going to be at 1 in the afternoon. Fun weekend coming up, but we're still not done because next we're taking a look at the football team. They're back home also as well from Idaho at Canvas Stadium for the Mountain West matchup against Wyoming, continuing on the rivalry of the week. This game is going to be a late one on Friday at 8 in the evening. It's also going to be the breast cancer awareness camp, so don't be afraid to show a little bit of spirit and put a little pink on. It looks good on you. And then finally, we finish up with the soccer team. They're traveling for their final game of the season for the Mountain West matchup against Wyoming, capping off the rivalry of the week. Game's going to be at 3 in the afternoon. Again, it's going to be their last game of the season, so don't be afraid to show your soccer team some love, which is what we're going to do right now with your play of the week. Let's roll it. Here we got Kaylee Lordman coming through with a goal in the 87th minute of the game to give the Rams the 1-0 lead and coming away with the win. A beautiful shot coming from outside into the upper 90. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Well, Rams, we're still not done, though, because we got a bonus play of the week coming up for you. Let's roll this one. I don't even have to say anything. This speaks for itself in so many ways. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, I love it. All right, Rams, now we're done. That's it for Castro's Cup, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, the Triple J Pick'em Challenge is next. We'll be right back.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Hello, Ram fans, and welcome back. I hope you're ready for this week's Triple J Pick'em Challenge. I'm here joined by Tuesday Sports anchor Jason Ortiz and Thursday Sports anchor Jared Stratton to pick our top 5 picks in college football this week. So with this week's standing, I am not the best, 19 for 30. Jared is 21 for 30, and Jason is still in last place with the worst, 18 for 30. So to start with the first pick of the week, we have number 18 Iowa taking on Big Ten foe and number 17 ranked Penn State at Beaver Stadium. So I'm really interested to see, who'd you guys pick here?
You want to go first?
I'll take it, yeah. So this week, the game is at Penn State. So with the Nittany Lions going, they're the 5-point favorite. Trace McSorley, KJ Hamler, Juwan Johnson. I think that offense is going to be too much for Iowa to handle, so I took Penn State.
I had the same reasoning. They're getting 100 more yards per game than Iowa. And it is at home, Penn State. That's going to be a real tough one for Iowa to come out at. They are ranked lower. They are going to be the underdog, so Penn State's going to come out with this win.
Man, I can't believe you guys both picked Penn State here. I picked Iowa. I don't know if you guys watched last week, but Indiana almost beat Penn State, the IU Hoosiers. And Iowa killed IU. So to me, that's like kind of scary. But they almost did. It was really close.
Almost counts in horseshoes.
All right. Well, they also lost to Ohio, Michigan State, and
Those are 2 good teams.
I know, but so is Iowa. Iowa's a good team.
Yeah, they are.
Not as
They're
good
really
as Penn
good
State,
team.
though.
But not as good as Penn State.
All right, moving on.
It's upset
time. We have
time.
number 9 ranked Florida Gators traveling to Stanford Stadium to take on the number 7 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. And I'm going to let you guys start this one because I got a little bit of a different opinion than you guys did.
I say Georgia all the way. All eyes are going to be on this game this weekend. They're playing for the title. They're both coming off of a bye week, so I think they're going to come out with a lot of energy. And always, this is going to be a big game. It's real close in the rankings. This doesn't have anything to do with the whole challenge, but I just wonder, I know you guys are going to talk about Jake Fromm, and if you guys see him being in the NFL in a couple years.
That's where it kind of comes into my pick. It kind of depends on who Georgia is going to play at quarterback. Are they going to stick with Jake Fromm, or are they going to go to Justin Fields? Justin Fields has been patiently waiting behind Jake Fromm. He wants to take the reins, but Georgia being running back U is what everybody's calling him. I think that Georgia, since this game's not in the swamp, because they're actually playing at the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium, so it's not in the swamp, they're not going to have that true home field advantage. I'm going to take Georgia in this one.
I think actually having it in a bigger stadium will encourage more fans to go out to the game. So they're going to have a bigger home field advantage, in my opinion. But that's just me. But also, Florida, they have 21 sacks on the season. And Georgia has 9. And to put that in a little perspective, CSU has more sacks than Georgia does. And CSU has been doing terrible. But with that, though, Florida does have a better defense. They have more picks. They have more sacks. They're going to come out of this game, and they know that this is going to be one of the biggest games they have. Also, Florida ended up beating LSU earlier this season. Georgia got stomped by LSU. And so it's going to be a big one right here. They're going to be playing in Florida. Georgia hasn't been doing well with good home field advantages. Florida's going to come out with a win.
You talk about Florida's defense, but you don't say anything about DeAndre Baker, the cornerback for Georgia. He can shut down an offense real well, and I'm really looking forward to see him do that against Florida this weekend.
They got more weapons than just receivers, though. They got a full running back squad. They got everyone. But I'm saying defense is going to be big this game, and like you said, defense is going to get big for Georgia. But I think Florida has a better one.
I agree.
It'll be a good game. So next we have number 14 Washington State headed to California to play number 24 Stanford. So in this game, who you guys got?
Well, I took Washington State. You know, they ended up destroying Oregon, and I know you weren't really happy about that game. But also, Stanford they were able to beat Oregon. So Stanford, both teams are struggling with running, but Washington State does have a little bit more defense-wise against the run. Stanford is letting up more yards per game, and Washington State is scoring 40 points per game. So that's one of the biggest factors for me. Washington State's going to win this game.
Yeah, so I picked Washington State too. You say that they're both kind of struggling with their rushing yards, but that's actually the only statistical spot that Stanford is above Washington State. Points per game, Washington State's got 40, Stanford's got about 25. And they've got the edge in the passing yards as well and overall yards as well. So I'm definitely looking for Washington State to come out and just win this one.
Yeah, so going against you guys, we know Gardner Minshew, quarterback for Washington State. He's second in FBS in passing yards, just got passed by Haskins from Ohio State. But Oregon showed that if you shut down their wide receivers, you have a chance to come back, and that's when Stanford needs to capitalize. So I feel like Bryce Love, he hasn't been having a good year. He only has 100-yard rushing game this whole season. If he steps up, plays a good game, and key to this game is KJ Costello. He has 1,800 passing yards, but the running game is not making up for it, so that's why they're pretty low. They were ranked high, now they're unranked, and then they were ranked again. So that's why I took Stanford, just because KJ Costello and Bryce Love, you can't bet against them.
So you have like a lot of ifs in there, but not like
No.
not coming together.
Bryce Love, he's not an if. He's a solid back. If we look at last year.
Yeah, we're looking at this year. All right.
Okay, to continue on, we have the Mountain West matchup of the week with Hawaii taking on Fresno State.
Jared.
Let me start this one. All right. Fresno State is predicted to win by over 3 touchdowns. That's 3 touchdowns. That's a huge spread. They're going to have to become – Hawaii is a huge underdog in this game. Hawaii has been struggling over the last 2 games. They lost by combined 48 points. And then Hawaii barely beat Wyoming, and that's Wyoming. They're one of the worst right now. And so, like, if they're very inconsistent with how they're playing. And ESPN ranked they did percentage-wise and who's going to win the game. They had 97.7% Fresno State's going to win.
You know, in the same ESPN, we were ranked to beat CU.
Really?
Yeah.
But was it 97.7%?
It was 60%, but
well,
ESPN's wrong
I picked them again, too.
Okay. I'm disagreeing with you here, Jared. Obviously, I'm siding with Jason here with Hawaii. They lost by 10 last year to Fresno, but when we saw them play CSU, we saw a really powerful Hawaii team. I don't know if it was just because of CSU's really rough early defense that was going on, but I think that this is kind of one of the years that they have a chance. Hawaii actually is looking pretty good in some of their games. They're not always excelling the way they should be, but I think that they actually have a chance this week, and so they're going to come out with a lot of aggression.
Yeah, Hawaii actually they have a lot of weapons. They're going to have to, it's a big test against Fresno, being Fresno is number 1 in the Mountain West Division, and Hawaii is tied for second with everybody else. So whoever wins this game is going to be obviously tied for number 1 or sole number 1. If Cole McDonald, he's 4th in the FBS in passing yards, he has to have a good game to win this game. Him and Dayton Faruta. running back for Hawaii. If he has a good game, these guys are going to have a chance to beat Fresno State, one of the powerhouses in the Mountain West.
Very small chance, I'll give you that.
They're going to have to.
Finally.
And finally, we have the CSU Rams hosting the border war against the Wyoming Cowboys. And now, right, for me, I'm choosing the CSU Rams. The only concern right now I have is with Colin Hill. We haven't seen a lot of him. We don't know exactly what he's going to be, but I think a new QB can also help. He looks like he's being a good leader for the Rams, and I think he's going to be able to pull out that win.
Yeah, so I'm also picking CSU. We lead this rivalry here, 56-48-5. Wyoming's they have won the last 2 years, but I'm really looking for us to get that bronze boot back. I think that Colin Hill's definitely going to have to look out for Logan Wilson. He's a linebacker. He played really good against Utah State. And then also Cooper Roth, their kicker, he's got a powerful leg, and so if we even let them in territory, they're going to score those little points, but I know it'll add up. So if we can stop them, I think that we'll have a successful weekend.
Yeah, so I went with CSU as well. Wyoming's not having a very good year. If you look at their record, you would think that they're probably not one of the best teams. But however, they could be one of the best teams in the Mountain West. We just don't know it because they've played against Boise State, Hawaii, Fresno State, and Utah State, who are the 4 of the top teams in the Mountain West. Yeah. But CSU, I think they'll still win this one. Izzy Matthews, Colin Hill, Preston Williams. Okay. Got it. Can't lose.
Well, we're all hoping for CSU to win this one, but Ram fans, that's all we have for you today for the Triple J Pick'em Challenge. But tune in next week to see who will lead in the picks, and it's going to be me.
No, it's me.
No, it's obviously me.
All right.
I go 0-5 again.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
The women's golf team is in the midst of their final tournament of the calendar year in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Rams are following up their biggest tournament of the fall when they competed in the Ron Moore Intercollegiate and put up a wire-to-wire victory, including an individual first place for Ellen Secor. Now in the bright lights and dry deserts of Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Collegiate Showdown hosted by UNLV, the Rams are again finding success. The 3-day tournament began yesterday and saw the Rams play solid golf, with Katrina Pendergrast and Jessica Sloot both finishing tied for 8th with a strong 2-under-par rounds. Haley Greb had to withdraw from the round. Day 2 has been even more successful as the Rams all shot well with a team score of 3 under par on the day, bringing their 2-round total to even par and bumping them up 3 spots to 6th overall. Katrina Pendergrast matched her total from yesterday and is now 4 under par and in 7th place individually. The Rams will wrap up the tournament tomorrow.
Well, Bryan, I'm really excited to see how the Rams do tomorrow. But aside from CSU Sports, the Pro Leagues had a pretty crazy weekend themselves.
Yeah.
So really quickly, before we wrap up the show, let's just talk about the Redskins versus the Cowboys yesterday. We had two old Rams playing Michael Gallup and Capri Bibbs.
Capri Bibbs taking one out. He caught a pass in the backfield, and amazing to see him get through some defenders. And then Michael Gallup, that move that he had was impressive. And
absolutely.
Yeah, Tony Romo said it the best. He's one of the best wide receivers on this team. So 2 really solid performances from CSU football players this weekend.
Yeah, it's so cool to see them out there on the field. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Signing off for CTV Sports, I'm Jessica Mendoza.
Have a great night, Ram fans.